Hello everyone. In this presentation, my partner Eusebio and my person Thais Nuri, we will talk about the blog called A Trip to the Wonderland, Croatia. In this blog, we talk about different topics such as the iceberg analogy, Lewis and Hofstede models, and finally, nonverbal communication in cultures. In the first post, we have some personal information about the authors. In this case, Eusebio and me. For the example, I am from Corozal and I study geology in the Nord University. And my partner is from Barranquilla and study civil engineer at, at the same university as me. In the second post, we make an analogy using a reference, the iceberg for the Croatian culture. The iceberg analogy highlights the idea that only visible part of a culture is exposed to the naked eye, while most of its characteristic and values rooted, 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 the, rooted at deeper levels and are not visible. The visible part of the culture iceberg will include aspects with traditional dress, um, gastronomy, history, architecture, art, music, dance, between others. Um, these elements are representative of a particular culture. However, most of a culture, like the submerged part of the iceberg, is at the is a deeper and less visible level. This includes belief, values, or styles, way of being, and between others. And in the post number 3, uh, we talk about stereotypes, and this concept is defined with that the idea you have about person or group of people, and this idea are mostly critical. However, the ideas can be false. Some stereotypes that we believe exist in Croatian culture are those of image. For example, Croats are racist, the police discriminate against for foreigners, and the religion of Croatian is Catholicism, sex education is prohibited, and others. And now my partner Eusebio speak.
Okay, hello. Well, in post number 4, we talk about what problems can a Croatian person have studying in Barranquilla, Colombia. Well, a citizen of Croatia could face many challenges if they were to study in the city of Barranquilla, due to the cultural difference between Croatia and Colombia. Due to the cultural difference between Croatia and Colombia. Um, Among the main challenges, the following can be highlighted. One challenge could be the difference in social norms and customs, where the Croatian student may struggle with a more relaxed approach to punctuality, personal space, and other formalities in Barranquilla. Another problem could arise in terms of how the Croatian student approach their relationship with professors or superiors or superiors. Um, In Croatia, there is a greater power distance with hierarchical structures and authority being more prevalent, whereas in Barranquilla, there is a preference for a flat organizational structure and informal communication. Lastly, language could also be a challenge as the Croatian language is Croatian, while Spanish is spoken in Barranquilla. Additionally, the communication style in Barranquilla could be influenced by the culture and is indirect and emphasizing in nonverbal signals and context. Well, in post next. Well, in post number 5, we talk about nonverbal communication in Croatia and a contrast between Colombia and Croatia. Well, in Croatia, physical contact is avoided when speaking, especially when meeting someone for the first time. Personal space is managed differently as Croatians prefer to maintain a distance or a fleet at least an arm's length, especially with people who are not in their close circle. Furthermore, pointing can be considered rude in this country. So to indicate something or someone, it should be done with an open hand or a gesture with the head. Well, there are differences and similarities between Croatia and Colombia. An example is that in Croatia, physical contact is generally avoided, especially when meeting someone for the first time. In contrast, Colombians are more tactile and may use gestures like nodding or holding shoulders during conversations. Well, pointing with the index finger is considered rude in most countries, but in Croatia, it is preferred to use the hand or nod with the head. While in Colombia, a gesture of both lips can be used. Moreover, personal space is more important in Croatia, as they prefer greater distance during conversations compared to Colombians. Next. Well, a final reflection that we have is that this research exploring Croatian culture provide us with valuable insights. We learn the significance of understanding the unique characteristics that define a culture. Comparing Colombian and Croatian cultures allow us to comprehend different cultural concepts. Also, our perception shifts as we discover both positive and negative aspects of Croatian cultures. For instance, we previously believe Croatia to be more progressive in terms of women's rights, but our findings prove otherwise. One of the highlights of creating this blog was categorizing countries using Lewis and Houghton's model. We were surprised to find similarities and difference between Colombian and Croatian cultures. Additionally, using the iceberg analogy to explore Croatian culture was fascinating as it revealed lesser known details such as people behaviors, styles, belief, and values. Well, understanding the internal aspect of a culture is fundamental to grasp its external manifestations, especially when encountering a new culture. Ultimately, developing this understanding internally foster empathy and strengthens intercultural relations, which becomes invaluable if one ever needs to adapt a foreign culture. Well, thank you very much. That would be all. stop the video, Snooty, please.